Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm going to be using the 2018 December kits again. So this is going to be another Christmas layout, and my assignment for this week is to incorporate some cut files onto my page. And I've already cut them out, and I forgot to turn my blade up a notch, and so it didn't cut as clearly as I would like it to. So I had to kind of help punch the shapes out instead of it just peeling off the mat nice and smooth like. I had to kind of help it along. But the picture that I'm going to be scrapping was from, or is from New Year's Eve, and so I cut out a big 2 and a 4, and that's going to be a big design element on my background. And there are some really fun shapes inside all these numbers. This is one of the free holiday cut files over on the Hip Kit website. And I kind of wanted to do the 2 and the 4 kind of over to the right hand side at an angle and kind of run the 4 off the page, because here's my picture. It's going to fit in the little nook right there under the 4, and I thought that's the perfect place to put that photo because it fits right there. And I want the photo down in the bottom right because she is looking up and to the left, and I like to situate my photos with faces with the person looking across the page or up above, kind of. I put them in the opposite direction of where their eyes are looking. So I didn't want to mess up where I put the numbers, so I lightly traced around them, and then I'm going to add some clear gesso to this background because I'm going to be adding a lot of mixed media to it. And if my picture looks familiar, for my very first layout for this month, seems like forever ago, I scrapped some pictures from the same night of me and my older daughter, but this is me and my little one. And so yeah, I have on red, she has on green, and so I'm going to be using a lot of traditional Christmas colors in this one. So this actually winds up not even mattering what I'm doing here. I wanted to add a little bit of shading, like some white spots, kind of snowy looking, I guess, on the 2 and the 4, and so I'm just smudging down some white gesso, and in the end you really can't even tell that I did that, so it doesn't even really matter. I have not used the stencil yet. This came in the color kits, as well as this sponge sugar dazzlers from Shimmers, and it's a very smooth, creamy texture paste, and it dries really shimmery and really shiny. It's very, very pretty. So I'm going to use a little bit of this down at the bottom, and then up at the top in between the 2 and the 4, and you just scrape this on, and you don't even have to use this through a stencil. You could add some color to it from another paint and make your own color. You know, you don't have to use this just as white, but I'm going to use it for some background texture and interest, and when I add color on top of it, you're going to be able to see those snowflakes just sort of emerge from this white background. It's like magic. It's so cool to do something like this with texture paste, or you know, even modeling paste, anything like that, white on white, and then when you add color it just sort of comes alive. So this is mostly dry, I'm not gonna lie. The dazzlers take quite a bit of time to dry, so I let it dry for a little bit, but I was impatient, so I'm going to be very, very careful with how I do this here. I pulled out some of the greens and blues from the kit. The green color in the little pot there is from this month, and it's called the Holly and the Ivy, and that's a Shimmers. And then I sprayed a little bit of Jenny B Blue Vibes, and we got that several months ago. But here you can see what I was talking about. I just splattered and sprayed and then added a little bit of water, and then I just tilt the paper around to let it run and do its thing and let the color kind of run and spread, and then you can just see how it spreads around the snowflakes. I think that is so cool. I love how that looks. Again, I'm just spraying and tilting and letting it go. The darker blue I think we got last month. It's called Deep Blue Sea. And it's fun to just mix and match these colors. And you really don't even need a brush to do this kind of technique. You just spray and then tilt the page around and let it go. And I use these colors because I've got red in the photo, and I felt like it would be a nice contrast with all of his blue and aqua shades in the background. And now, since I've got color on the background, the 2 and the 4 are really going to show against the background there. And I love how the snowflakes just sort of create this really awesome texture. And it's going to look really, really cool once everything is said and done. So that's kind of how the background's going to look. I love how that looks. And I love how easy this was to make. I mean, you're really not doing anything special here. You just spray and tilt and let it run, and it's going to instantly blend and create some really, really interesting color tones. Going to add a little bit of splatters here and there. Now you can see how it looks different over on the far left where I just sprayed. I did not cover that part of the background with gesso, and you can definitely tell a difference in that splotch on the left. Half of it has gesso and other half doesn't. It still winds up being okay, but you can tell how the part on the very far left just sort of soaked right through the paper. But look how shimmery and shiny that is. Look at those snowflakes. I think that is so pretty, and it really was not hard to do at all. So this is kind of how the layout is going to go. I've got the background pretty much finished. I did some stitching on the 2 and the 4 just to add some interest there. Instead of adding paint there, I used metallic gold, and I just went around the edges. I did some straight stitching and then some very close zigzag stitching, and I think that adds a nice shine and just adds some interest to the 2 and the 4 since, you know, they were kind of plain. So I'm going to start to build everything now. I'm going to add some white tissue paper behind the photo there, and this is some packaging from some of the stickers or die cuts or something. All of the packaging this month was totally usable, like pattern paper. It was great. I think I've used some of the packaging on every layout I've made this month. So I'm going to add a little bit of that light blue packaging and then go ahead and glue down the numbers because I know I want those to be part of the background. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. And I would have stitched all that gold stitching with the numbers on the background, but my background, like I said, it wasn't 100% dry. I did do some heat gun drying with it off camera because, like I said before, the Dazzlers does take a long time to dry, and I needed to get this layout done today, so I didn't have time to just be patient and let it dry on its own, so I did help it along. I wanted a little pop of red around the upper part and right side of the photo, so I added a little bit of that red and white plaid paper just for a little bit of something around the edge. And then I'm going to raise the photo up with some foam. So I added some adhesive foam behind that, and then I'm going to start to play around with all the embellishments. There are so many cute die cuts and puffy stickers, and I feel like I still have a ton left. There was so much in the kits, and I feel like I still haven't put a dent in it, and this is, I think, my 5th layout. I think it's number 5. I haven't used a lot of the cute animal stickers and die cuts, and so I thought I'm going to try to use all the little, not all, but a lot of the animals. I hadn't used that cute little Santa yet, and I like the way he looks peeking out from behind the picture there. And I like how she's looking the other direction, so it's like Santa is being sneaky and she can't see him. I think that kind of turned out cute. I'm going to use the bear, and I'm going to use that little snowman, and I'm actually going to use that little fox too, and that deer, but I'm just playing around with the arrangement here. I'm not quite sure if I want things standing on top of the photo or what. I didn't want to cover up the 2 and the 4 completely because I still wanted it to be obvious that it was 24, but I did want to add lots of little goodies around the picture. So I decided to leave the Santa where he is, and then I'm going to put the bear and the snowman to the left, right where they are. And I want to make sure that the snowman is raised up to match the same height as the photo. So I went back and added some foam behind him. And then I want some interest behind the die cuts and the stickers. And so I mixed 2 thread colors together. I've got a light blue and then a minty green color, basically the colors that are on the background. And I'm going to kind of spread that to where it's sticking out from behind the left side of the picture. And you can kind of see this behind those little critters there. And I like the pop of color and interest that that gives there. And then I'm going to add just some of the light blue over to the right, kind of showing behind the Santa. And then the photo is done. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And I didn't run it up completely touching the bottom of the 4. I wanted that little strip of color on the background to show through, and I didn't want to cover up that gold stitching either. So, all right, all those little guys are going to get glued down. I love how that's looking. I tried to have the bear and the snowman kind of standing on the bottom of the 2 so they have something to stand on. But then I went and stuck the little deer down there, and he's just kind of floating. He doesn't have anything to stand on, but he's in the same line. All their feet kind of line up, so it looks like they're kind of standing together. But I thought that deer was really cute, and so yeah, lots of animals on this page. Now, I decided to use this puffy sticker as part of my title, but I did not like the color. It did not go with anything on my layout. And so, you know me, I'm not afraid to cover it up and change the color. So I smudged some white gesso on it, and then I'm going to color it with this Shimmers. This was one from a few months ago. It's one of the original Shimmers paints, and it's called Sunflower, and it is a gorgeous golden yellow color. More of a golden than yellow. Very glittery and sparkly, and so I just do a couple of coats of this, and so it's going to look gold. You would not even tell it was the previous color, and it's going to wind up matching a lot better, I think. And I'm also going to add a couple splatters with that sunflower color also. And you can also use the Minor 49er. I just use this one because it's a little bit thicker, and I felt like it would coat that puffy sticker a lot better since it's a thicker paint. So the title is going to be "Twas the Night Before Christmas" because I thought, well, that's a great title for a New Year's Eve page, and so that's what it's going to be. Nothing too clever, and it's great for this, I thought. So that's what it's going to be. I wanted to use a couple more of these black clear stickers, and so there was one that said Christmas Eve. I'm going to stick that down there at the bottom. It was the perfect spot for that. And then this one says "This warms my heart," or "warms my heart," something about warming of the heart. So I've got this puffy sticker is almost dry, and I'm going to situate that right above the photo. I almost thought about doing the title over to the left where the animals are, but once I added the animals, I thought, okay, that area is plenty busy, so we're going to go above the photo. And I'm going to use these exclusive puffy alpha stickers, and I'm going to do all red here to stack the other words of the title. "'Twas the night before Christmas," and there you go. Now all I'm going to do is go through and add glue behind all of those alphas and the word Christmas, because nothing wants to stick to gesso. So that's all I'm doing here is gluing down, and I did go behind "Twas the Night Before" and add glue. Now I'm going to add something over here to the upper left. That's where the little fox is going to go. And so I wanted it to have something for him to stand on so it didn't look like he was just floating in space. So I did some more of the same stitching and gave him a little ledge. And then I cut the red and white striped off of that little label piece and stuck it underneath the gold stitching just for a pop of red, a little bit more of something in that area. So I guess you could consider this a little cluster, but I don't add too much more. I think I add a wood veneer button, I think. But I do use one of those epoxy stickers, the little circles over to the right, and then a couple of these wood veneer buttons. And the wood veneer buttons are exclusive. I think everything I use on this page is exclusive. I'm pretty sure. There are a couple things from Pink Fresh Studio, but everything I think I use here is exclusive. Added another black clear sticker, and then I'm going to trim off everything that's hanging off the page. I'm getting close to being finished. I decided to do just a tiny bit of journaling right up underneath the little fox there with my gold pen, just saying where we were. It was Christmas Eve, because it was just a cute picture. On Christmas Eve. And I did add the date down at the bottom, but that's the final layout. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was fun to make, and I was very proud of myself for using all those little animals, because I've been looking at them all month long and finally said, today's the day we're going to use them. Anyway, here are all the close-ups I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the kits. I believe the January kits should be going out very, very soon. And in the meantime, they have offered up a free mini kit up on the Facebook group that you can print out and use until you get your actual January kits, because we had to wait for some things from the manufacturer before they could get shipped out. And so make sure you check that out, and stay tuned for all the new cut files for the month and all of the wonderful things that are coming. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you in the next video.